You are now listening to the Sae Bae Cast, the #1 old school RuneScape podcast featuring guests from all across Galanor. To support this podcast, visit the Patreon link in the description.
All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast, number 48 with Pawz. Pawz, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good too, dude. Very excited to get you on. I've been a big fan of your content. I've been subscribed to you for I don't know how long. I also have had a personal channel, so now I exclusively watch YouTube on my dedicated, my channel, but I was following so many creators on my personal account. So it's cool to get you on. This is the first time we've ever talked in person. I mean, in person, I guess, like on voice.
This is coming to you live.
Yeah. But you've seen a few Sae Bae casts. I've watched a bunch of your rambles, a bunch of your podcasts. So it almost feels like, I don't know. At least to me, it feels like we've already talked a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really exciting to get you on. I know a lot of my audience wants to get more free to play people on, just a bigger variety, UIM especially, and free to play, and just they want to. So you are pretty iconic in the free to play scene. So I want to hear from you. What is your background with RuneScape and specifically free to play?
Well, I guess just to give some context, I started RuneScape in 2006, and I kind of just account hopped a lot until probably till 2011. I played a lot of level 3 accounts. I think I've always just liked the game with limited accounts more for some reason. I don't know. I just don't like doing prerequisites for things and members. So
There's
it's my least favorite thing to do. Yeah. Too much content, in my opinion. But yeah, in 2011 or so, I'm not exactly sure when this happened, but I found out about the free-to-play community in RS3. So I don't know, have you ever heard of SizzyG before?
No, not that I can
Okay,
recall.
well, he is pretty famous, overall, I guess, in the the history of the game, I guess you could say. He has his own Wikipedia page, in fact.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the first player to max free to play. I think it was in 2008 or something like that.
Okay.
But anyway, I found out about his account, and I found out about some other free to play players on the game. And I just thought that was just so sick that people were not only maxed free to play, they were also doing 200 mils. And
Oh wait,
this
so
is
he
just...
had. Oh wait, sorry. Let me just clarify.
Mhm.
So in 2008, he maxed he got all 99s, not 200
Yeah.
mils, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I think I might have seen him woodcutting in Drainer at Willows or something, and he had 100 million woodcutting XP or something crazy like that. And I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous because I'd never even got a 99 until I started playing free to play. I just didn't have the motivation for it, so I got 99 cooking. That was my first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Right.
So when did you start playing old school? Was it on release?
Yeah, so I was playing Pawz for a while. I think I kind of got bored of it on RS3. And then Iron Man came out. I started playing a level 3 free to play Iron Man on RS3. I played that for a while. And then old school free to play came out in 2015 February. I had decided I was going to start playing Pawz again on old school. So yeah, I started playing 2015. And I think I probably played for a month or two. I kind of got bored. I thought that I was the only person playing free to play. I didn't know there was a community at all going on. And eventually I think I found Crystal Math Labs during that summer. And they had a free to play only section on it, and I found out there were other people actually playing free to play. So it kind of motivated me to start playing again. I went for 99s on old school. Got 99 cooking, fire making, fishing. And then I was starting to climb in the ranks for a bit, so I had decided to go for max at that point. And after woodcutting, I wanted to get a 99 that no one else had, and it was like something I could really like push my account forward. So I went for the hardest one, 99 Runecraft. First free to play player to get 99 Runecraft on old school. I did Earth Talismans with 3 of my own runners.
Insane.
Yeah, it was about 40K an hour at max. Once
Oh,
I
that's
finally got
not
the
too
method
bad,
down.
I guess. But
It's not too bad,
but
but it
to
was a
the
lot
effort.
of clicking. Yeah, it was 4 accounts for about a whole month and a
Oh,
half, something like
God.
that. Trading myself every lap. But yeah, that I got 99 rune crafts and then the rest of the skills. And I maxed in 2016, about a year and a half later.
Very cool. Were you the first person to max? Like I don't even know how to phrase like
Mm.
what number you were to max. How do you even say that?
I
You know what
was
I'm
first to
asking.
max free to play on old
Okay.
school.
Okay,
And
there we go.
then I think the next was not until like 2 or 3 years later. No
Wow.
comfort. Yeah, it was quite a bit
So you
ahead,
were like
but
the Lynx Titan of free to play, basically.
not really. I mean, I was playing a lot. I
Okay.
definitely put in like at least like a 3,000 year probably. Uh, but like in terms of EHP, I think Netbook and I have always been Netbook Pro. If people don't know who he is, him and I have always just been kind of head to head on the high scores. We've passed each other multiple times. He's ahead right now, but maybe one day I'll catch up.
That's very cool. So I'm looking at your account right now. For those that don't know, you do have 3 200 mils right now, and
Yep.
you can go into that. And I see a 4th on the way. In fact, I mean, halfway done with a 5th as well. So
Yep.
actually, I guess and a
Um,
6th. But yeah, you can kind of go into the 200 mils. In fact, let me preface this by asking, um, did you ever see yourself, or I guess when did you see yourself being able to go actively for 200 mils?
yeah, this is funny. We actually had a few free to play podcasts before, like they're long gone now. I deleted them a long time ago, but because they were kind of cringy. But
You got to
we did
keep the
talk about
cringiness,
that.
man.
I know a lot of people want them, but I don't have them anymore, so
Just
I don't know
perm
what to
delete
tell
those
them.
things. I don't want to see
I
them
did.
anymore. Love it.
Yeah, but anyway, there was one of them we talked about getting 200 mils, and every single person was like, "There's no way." Like Netbook Pro was on the same podcast, and he was like, "There's no way we're getting 200 mils."
Wow.
But yeah, it's funny how we've all changed. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't really know when I decided to go for a 200 mil. I guess it was fishing. I didn't really know what to do after max, so it was kind of just like skill hopping a little bit here and there. I figured if I could get a 200 mil, it'd probably be a buyable. So I started doing different buyables. I think I did like 100 mil cooking XP. I kind of just got bored of it because who cares about 200 mil cooking? Because it's like it was the exact same meta in pay to play as it was in free to play,
Yeah.
doing wines. So it's exactly the same rate, and nobody would care at all. So I don't know. I kind of got burnt out of cooking, um, and I started. Well, at this time, I should also say I was in the clan Hexus. I'm sure your viewers and you are familiar with
Yep.
Hexus. Um, and there's a few people in it like Tricul and Gingbino. I think they were both doing their 200 mil fishing grind at the time. They were doing the 3 tick snow method with the reindeer hat. Um, and this was the meta at the time, before Urban Tar. And I thought that was just like a really cool method, so I wanted to try it out. I gave it a shot. I think I got to like 20 mil fishing, and I just kind of got hooked on it. Like I just wanted to go so hard on it because I'd never gone for a 200 mil, and fishing would be a really cool 200 mil to go for. Because I think when I started, there's probably only like 2 or 3 people with 200 mil, um, in fishing. So I spent about 9 months going for it. Yeah, I played like I think on average I think I averaged like 11 EHP a day for 9 months, something like that.
That's
And
insane.
I know I couldn't do that anymore now, but
I
I ended up at rank 11 in the end, so that's pretty cool.
Very cool. I want to just know because so I made a hardcore Ironman on release that got banned and then recently has been actually unbanned this year.
Oh,
But that's besides the point. I was actually kind of tempted to go for a 200 mil, so I wanted to go for 200 mil crafting on my hardcore. just simply because, the ranks, like nobody had ever done it on hardcore. Nobody had even done it on an Ironman or Ultimate. And it just seemed like something I could probably go for because I really enjoyed the skill. But I never got to that point because I got banned to even kind of embrace it. But for those that haven't gone for a 200 mil, I think it would be really cool to hear from your end. What was that experience like for 9 months? Were there times where you were burning out? Was there times where you're like, what am I doing this for? Because honestly, like I mean, I have one 200 mil right now in strength, and it just came completely passively. But I've never actively gone for one straight skill.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know. I think like uh it didn't seem like it was very hard at the time because I was just so like motivated to do it because I don't know. I guess like the community at the time was like super skilling community, I should say, was like super like I don't know, motivated and like there's a lot of energy around it, I feel like, on like
Yeah.
Twitter and all that. And I just was like just going for it. I was not burnt out like at all until like maybe like I don't know, near the end actually. I think I was a little bit burnt, but I was pushing forward still. I wasn't playing as much near the end, I think, which is weird. You would think it wouldn't be like that, but
Was it
uh
ranks focused, do you think? Do you think the fact that you could get a really low rank was just the
n-
motivating factor, or do you think you would
that
just
was
genuinely just enjoy the game and just
that was part of it, definitely. And it was also that I enjoyed the game, but I think I don't know, something that really got me hooked was on CML, like just tracking my daily and weekly EHP, just seeing like, 70 to 80 hours just constantly on that was just like addicting.
yeah.
It was just so nice to see.
It's cool
Uh,
to have, I don't know, consistency and seeing it
yeah,
in hindsight. You're like, wow, like holy shit.
yeah, yeah. Just love seeing that 70 every week. It's just so nice.
Okay, I can't even remember the first question I asked. Oh yeah, just about your 200 mils. So you did get 200 mils fishing, and
Mhm.
what were the following ones?
Yeah, so after that, I don't know. I went back to Bibles because I didn't know what to do after fishing. I started with cooking, finished cooking, didn't take very long. I already had done like 100 like 20 mil XP, something like that. So I finished off cooking. I think I started crafting or smithing, one of those. And then got burnt of that. Went on to either crafting or smithing, whichever the other one was, and did. So I'm currently 50 mil crafting and 80 mil smithing. So that's what I got to in those. Uh, and I realized I really hate Bibles, so I think they're pretty boring and nobody really cares about them at all, including myself. So,
What were the
uh,
methods for free to play for those two skills?
for crafting, you just cut diamonds. It's about 290k per hour. You can get 300k pretty easily, actually. Um, I think I was cutting rubies mostly because they were sort of cheap at the time, and I was just doing abyss rune crafting on my alt because that was kind of a thing at the time as well. Um, So I think I was like breaking even while doing crafting. And then for smithing, okay, this kind of leads into another topic, I guess. So for smithing, everyone knows about doing 3-bar rune items. That was a thing for a while for everybody, and how they're like profitable and whatnot. So I was doing 3-bar rune items and I was just kind of having trouble selling them in the GE. And I was kind of thinking like, man, I don't know. I feel like Alkers have an issue like buying these things too. Like, so I started since I had a YouTube channel. I didn't have many subs. I think I had maybe like 2K subs, something like that. Um, so I had a YouTube channel. I had a few friends that were also smithing. So I started a clan. At the time was called W385 Anvil. I don't know if you're familiar with its current edition or whatever you want to call it. What it is now. Or have you heard of W308 Anvil
I've
by chance?
I haven't heard of it, but like
Okay.
yeah, but it
I'm
is free
sure
to
a
play.
few
Is it
people
free to
have.
play only?
No, so it's like, everybody in the game that still smiths rune items
Okay.
uses it. Let's see how many people are on this. Let me just scroll down real quick. I think
Wait,
there's at least like a few thousand people in the Discord.
So 308. So people smith it in free to play, and they can't wear their like. Well, I guess you wouldn't really need the graceful effect. I don't think. But is it just in Varrock? I'm assuming.
So what goes on is people. So there's like a set price for the 3-bar rune items that you smith, uh, which is 38K usually. Sometimes it goes up or down depending on inflation or whatever. And the price of bars, I think, is also a factor. And there's also like crafting items that you can buy and sell in it. So basically, people just use it. It's like a quicker way to buy and sell rune items. Like, so you don't have
Oh,
to go. You can go through the limits in the GE without like, because there's just always people either buying or selling, so you can just instantly sell it without having to worry about that.
interesting. Okay, so it's
So,
more like a trading CC. I thought it was just
yeah,
like some social. I
no,
guess it
no.
probably is a little social. I'm assuming, but
They
interesting.
take it a little. They take it pretty
Yeah.
serious. They've it's kind of evolved. Like I'm not involved in it now, but yeah, I kind of handed it off to a few different people, and then they handed it off to more people. So I'm not. I am kind of. I'm technically still an admin in it, but I don't usually talk in it at all or use it. But
Okay.
anyway, during that I started that CC. It became like pretty popular, surprisingly. And so yeah, after smithing, I got burnt of that too, and I was just I don't know. I wanted to have a long-term goal to go for. Um, so I figured, I started fishing. Uh, I could continue with the rest of the gatherers because that's a pretty respectable goal to go for. I don't think anybody at the time had even done it in members, so it was something I thought was pretty cool. I started mining, uh, started doing something called Fortic Iron in the Wildy, uh, attacking hobgoblins with an empty short bow, and that creates a 4-tick action, so you can move between the rocks with 4 ticks rather than 5 ticks. And that's about 57K an hour. Uh, I did that till like probably like 20 mil, and since then I have been using a 3-tick method that free to play players use. You basically have to make an alt that is within 15 levels of your combat level on your main, and that alt has to have 1 attack and 1 strength, uh, so that you don't deal any damage to your main account when you attack it. And that alt kicks with a event RPG, so people call it a kicking alt. And you can 3-tick with that in free to play, and that's about 65K per hour.
Who discovered that?
So,
Because
um,
I'm totally
I
I'm envisioning it because so many of your
Mhm.
rambles have that clip in it, just of you
Right,
doing
yeah,
that. So
yep.
I would honestly, I think I might even pull it up on my end for the actual final edit, just so
Mhm.
people that haven't seen it, but I'm assuming many of you have seen what this is.
Yeah. So, this kind of happened a couple times, but so like after the Skilling Cup, I think it was the second Skilling Cup, the one with the 2-tick teaks. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah, I heard a lot about it.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So after that, like obviously in free to play, we're like some of us were. I don't think Tanner was really like active at the time because he would have been on top of this, obviously. uh, but yeah, after that, we were just kind of like questioning, is this possible in free to play? So I think so. There's this one guy. I have 10 GP was his name. He was an Iron Man, free to play Iron Man. He was pretty interested in game mechanics. So he found this one method with oak trees and drainer. You could 2-tick them with the 2 jail guards there. They attack in a 4-tick action, so you can have both of them attack you in their own cycles
Yeah.
and get 2 ticks that way. That method was not meta, but it was still pretty cool. Anyway,
Was it
um,
easier than like the? I think it's like what 2.67 willows right now is like meta.
yeah, I mean that wasn't even like close to being discovered at that
Oh,
point,
okay.
but
So at the time this was the meta, or
no, no, no. So yeah, like 3-tick snow woodcutting would have been the meta.
oh, okay,
That would
willows.
be like, yeah, that'd be about like 75, 80K an hour. And this oak method was probably maybe 70K, but the thing is, it's pretty inconsistent because I think, don't quote me on this, but I think that the jail guards can get like off cycle, or you can just like mess up and then it'll go off cycle, or somebody could kill them. There's a bunch of
Okay,
factors that could
interesting.
happen.
Were there only 2
Um,
trees you could do it on, so it also depended on
yeah.
respawns?
Also, yeah, the trees would go down. There's only 2 trees.
Okay.
So, um, anyway, what were we talking about?
Yeah. Oh God. Don't ask me. No. Uh. Dude, honestly, just I don't even know. I literally can't remember what we were
Oh,
talking
right,
about.
right, right. You were asking how the mining method was discovered. That's what it was.
There we go.
Uh, so anyway, I was talking to this I have 10 GP guy, and we were trying different things in the wilderness because obviously, like, a player could attack you instead of an NPC. So we were trying a bunch of different weapons. Like, it didn't. It seems like obvious now, like that you could just use a 3-tick weapon, but like we didn't think about that for some reason at the time. We were trying like 2Hs and like battle axes on each other, and it wasn't working very well. So
7-tick cycle. Like,
yeah, we didn't really totally understand it at the
yeah.
time. But I think we like gave up, or like I had to go or something like that. And so he got Netbook Pro, who was also somebody who was within his combat level, to help him out to attack him. And so they eventually figured out you could use a short bow and attack with range, and that would create the 3-tick action that you would need to mine. And then eventually he figured out that you could use an event RPG, and that would have been way more feasible because with range you'll actually deal damage, so that could be an issue. Um, so I would give credit to I have 10 GP, but I was helping him out at the time. So
So what was the deal with PID swapping? I know it was almost based on player ID, and I don't think it would ever change. And then they made an update where it would just randomly change every like 40 to 60 ticks or something like that.
yeah, I never experienced anything without the PID system, so like
Okay.
I couldn't really tell you about that because like it's always just been, a nuisance while I'm mining. It's like, well, just got a 4-tick action. I gotta wait now for it to get back on cycle. It's just how it is,
Yeah.
So
Because that is how it is, I want to just ask you, I know it's kind of random, but would you want it to be really consistent, or do you think it's part of the skill now to
no,
almost anticipate?
absolutely. I would want it to be consistent. I think it's
Okay.
stupid. It's really dumb.
I'm just wondering because you're so close. Well, here I'll let you say. So, how close are you to 200 mil mining? I know you've been on that journey for a while.
Yeah, so I'm 15,250,000 off roughly. Uh, yeah. And I feel like I was gonna say something else about the PID. Like
I'm sorry,
I
man.
think it only makes like maybe like 1 or 2K XP per hour difference. Like so it's like perfect tick mining could be 70K per hour, but you can't get that for a few reasons. Like for one, it's a PID, obviously.
Yeah,
Then there's also gem rocks, or not gem rocks, but getting gems
yeah.
from the rocks. And like there's also something I don't really know what it's actually called, but I just refer to it as like a ghost gem. So you can get like a gem on the gem roll, but it doesn't give you anything. So sometimes you just don't mine iron, is what it looks like.
Wait,
So
wait,
I
wait.
think
So,
that's what it is.
so the iron depletes, but you don't get anything.
No, no, no. It doesn't even deplete. You just click on the rock and nothing happens.
Oh
It's
yeah,
supposed
because
to
a
be
gem wouldn't deplete it, correct? If you get
right.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't understand what that was for about like 150 mil mining XP. So
Okay. So, but it is a 100% chance you mine an iron, right? It's not something
I'm
crazy like
pretty
99
sure.
point.
I'm pretty sure. I
Okay.
could be wrong though.
I think it's I think it's 100% as well, but because you
Yeah.
said that, I don't know if there is an old gem, but
I talked to
maybe
Tanner
there
about
is.
this, and he seemed to think. I think he said that it was like a null gem.
That's so interesting. That would be really cool to ask. I don't know if you've asked J Mods, like Mod Ash or
Yeah.
anything on Twitter.
No, I haven't.
Interesting. So let me ask you this. You probably already know, but is there any way to, is there any possible scenario where mining rates will actually increase, or is that the theoretical just max method?
Yeah, there is something people call 2.5 tick mining. Uh, Basically, if Jagex were to release something to free to play, that could create a 3-tick action, like for example, herb tar or knife log, whatever people use these days.
Mm.
Um, that would make it possible to do 2.5 tick mining in free to play. Because we do have the the snow globe and the reindeer hat that can make snow, which is 3 tick. That is a thing. However, it doesn't work with mining, walking between rocks for some reason. I have no idea why, but it just doesn't. Yeah. So if they were to add a 3 tick item, and you could 3 tick between the rocks. When I'm talking about between the rocks is that it's kind of like similar to how, like, what was it, 2S2G had, like, 4 rocks there and you had to walk between them. It's the same thing with the iron in the wilderness.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if they were to add a 3 tick item and you could 3 tick between those rocks, then you could also use an alt to either splash on you, or there's another alternative I'm trying to think of. For some reason I can't. Anyway, yeah, if you were to have your alt attacking you with, I think it's 5 ticks. Yeah, so every 5 ticks, your alt hits you. You can 2 tick the next rock. So you'd be 3 ticking in between the rocks and then 2 ticking the rocks that are adjacent to each other. Yeah. So that would be the theoretical max. I'm not sure what the perfect tick of that would be. It would be something probably like 85k an hour or something like that. I don't remember. 84k maybe. But yeah, it would increase the rate quite a bit from what the current EHP rate is, 65k. So,
and if they released a 3 tick item, I guess I can start a 3 tick action. Would that be a good thing though for free to play?
I think a lot of people would like that. I personally just like things how they are. I'm kind of against them just adding things to free to play upon request.
Yeah.
So I would prefer them not to, but because, like, I don't know, I like how the snow is the only option, or like a retaliation, tick manipulation. Like, those are the only options we have. So I don't know, or in eating, of course. Yeah. So, oh yeah, another thing I should mention: the 2.5 tick mining is possible to do currently, but you have to have somebody running cakes for you, or you can do it yourself. And yeah, so people have only done that for hour records. I did it for an hour record, and another player, Yelsos, did an hour.
Just love your running cakes.
Yeah,
trade
I
me
had
the
DJ,
cakes quick.
Yeah, I had DJ9 running cakes for me for that.
That's
Shout
so
out.
cool. Okay, I thought of this. I want to hear your thoughts on it. So they in recent years they came out with beginner clue scrolls for free to play, and I've heard your thoughts on it. It would be really cool. It was either you or Tan. I'm pretty sure it was you. Maybe it was Tan or Dino actually, but something about like you guys would love to get talismans. Oh, it must have been Tanner because he's an Iron Man.
Yeah, I think it was Tanner. I remember that podcast.
The other thing, I think I might have mentioned it to him, but I forgot what he said about it. But what would you think about purple sweets being added to free to play? A stackable 3-tick starting action.
I mean,
they're expensive.
If they weren't,
keep in mind.
I mean, I wouldn't like that. No.
Okay.
Because, like, for one, it's a stackable, eatable item.
Yeah.
So you could just, yeah, I don't know, that I would not like that. Plus, it would make like gatherers essentially buyables as well. You'd have to make more money on top of what you need for 200 mil all, and I would not like that.
Okay.
So
I've always thought about that because I know it would almost not even be feasible, but I know EHP rates would probably change because of it. But it would be just so crazy expensive. And the fact that they would release it to free to play would probably make purple sweets even more expensive than they already are.
Right. Yeah.
But if they were given from beginners, I guess maybe they would be relatively the same price because free to play players are getting them. Interesting. Okay, the other thing I wanted to ask was, what did you think about the 2-tick, the weak bug, I guess you'd call it now, is where you could 2-tick basically every resource, rocks, trees, fishing spots, well, some fishing spots, with a staff and some mind runes and some air runes.
Yeah, when that happened, I was like, well,
you woke up in the morning and you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I was like, well, I guess a few thousand hours have just been shaved off of my goal. That's interesting. Yeah, I enjoyed doing the methods, but of course they're like super broken for free to play. I mean, they were fine for members, of course, but I guess I am kind of glad they patched it. At the time, I was like, oh, I guess this is good. I guess, but
You start looking
uh,
at the rate, you're like, oh shit, like this, maybe
yeah,
is this good?
I do wish that I could have taken advantage of them because,
Mm.
but I think what happened was I didn't have my computer with me at the time. I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but I only could play on mobile, so I didn't really do it much. And I think I was in school too at the time, so
Oh, okay.
pretty busy. I did record a few clips of it though on mobile. It was so easy. I could just do it on mobile without like any practice.
That's
So
insane.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when that came out. I was like a giddy schoolboy, man. I was running around the entire world figuring out every single place I could utilize this. I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. But it really did make a lot of methods very kind of dull and simplistic because it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, you just two tick this. I mean, there was still the 1.5 ticking, which would be better, but very few places where you actually utilize that in members. But it was still cool. I don't know. I just remember going to the woodcutting guild and just attacking those foresters with my staff and two ticking yew trees and stuff. It was really neat. But personally, I don't know. I feel like two tick methods are just they're simple. There's something like just not as charming about a two tick method for some reason. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the two things I wanted to kind of cover by you. I must have asked Tanner because they sound very familiar. Okay, so 200 mil mining's really close. You did get 200 mil fishing and cooking, and you have one other one. Can you tell us about defense?
Oh, right, defense. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of just something I've gotten passively. Probably similar to your strength you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
earlier. Uh, yeah, so what free-to-play players do in their downtime, I guess it's kind of like similar to Nightmare Zone, where you just go AFK melee, basically. I don't think members have as much time in Nightmare Zone now as they used to, but um, yeah, so what we do is we go to either flesh crawlers in Stronghold of Security or spiders on level 3 SOS, and it's pretty AFK. It's probably about 10 minutes of AFKing, something like that. You don't have to really do anything. You don't have to eat. Um, yeah, because they don't hit much. Well, I guess the spiders do. You might have to pay attention to the spiders, but flesh crawlers you can pretty easily AFK unless they get stuck. So yeah, people like Netbook Pro, Barto, aka Jane Ahonen, have really taken advantage of these. Actually, I think Barto is actually about the same as me, but he started a lot later than I did. Uh, they've gotten a few 200 mils in combat skills. Netbook Pro is actually getting pretty close to finishing all combat 200 mils in free to play. He's on range right now, and I think he's like 180 mil or 190. I don't remember, something like that. Um, so yeah, it's about 40K an hour. So it's a bit over 10,000 hours of AFKing, but it's just something that you can do whenever.
Yeah.
So
It's like a
yeah,
redwood
that's
tree for members.
essentially it's like redwoods, yeah, except probably worse, honestly, and longer.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's like well, it's about zero point 0.5 EHP per hour now.
Okay.
Free to play melee rates and range were changed to like 80K an hour, I think, due to an update with Castle Wars where they added Castle Wars potions as well as adding a Castle Wars bracelet to free to play.
Oh yeah, I remember in your last progress video, I think you were talking about this.
Yeah, so the potions I think are like overloads essentially. I don't know what overloads give, but they're definitely like super high bonuses added to your stats. And
Sheesh.
the bracelet gives a 15% damage boost to players holding the flag. So of course this means that free-to-play players can take advantage of the mini game and get really high XP rates in combats because of it. So this is the HP rate now.
Damn.
I don't know if anybody's gonna do it. Actually, I might do it for a bit after I finish Gatherers, maybe just to get the Castle Wars armor because it's I can also get tickets with that. So
Oh,
we'll see.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what do you think about collection log now that collection log's a thing. What is max? What is max collection log for free to play?
Yeah, so this is probably something I'm gonna get into like when we get to the Twitter questions, but yeah, so max collection log is different for some people because Jagex decided at one point to remove LMS competitive from free to play, so you can no longer get the items, but some people do have items, like
That's
myself.
so dumb.
It's so stupid. I hate it so much. I'll rant more in the future probably on this podcast. Um, yeah, so I don't know what the max collection log is at this point, but you got Cast Wars armor. That's a huge time sink in
Yeah.
itself. LMS would have been a lot too. I did do some boosting with Tanner and a few others. That's how I got my wins cape. I'm not a PvPer whatsoever, but I would have liked to learn, like
Yeah.
that's why I kind of wish that LMS was still in free to plays.
And you
Like
do
maybe
learn. It's pretty crazy.
yeah,
Like
I
that's what taught
definitely
me.
I did play some legit games. Like I think I got one of the pieces legit. And I never won, but I did pretty well. I
You
felt
get some
like for
kills. Yeah.
yeah, I got plenty of kills. So
It's
yeah,
weird because I feel like I'm like a lot of these questions I'm asking. It's like wow, I'm getting deja vu because I think I've just recently talked to Automelogy as well, and a lot of
yeah,
these questions are just kind of like, oh shit, like have I already asked you this?
yeah.
But
Yeah,
interesting.
the collection log, I'm a big fan. I wish there was more stuff to do on it that is just like not really harmful to the game or anything. Like, I don't know. I'm a big fan of the collection log in general. So that's how
Very
I feel
cool.
about it.
And it looks like you've done 694 beginners. Did you
Yeah.
complete it? Hopefully.
Yeah. I finished all the items probably around like 550 or something like that.
Okay.
So I got it before the 600. I think it's estimated around like 600 to get everything.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit under the rate. I also Speaking of which, I mean, it's not a clue scroll item, but I did get the stale baguette a few months ago, so
Ooh, very
that was a
nice.
pretty huge. Yeah,
How many hours is that?
I think Tanner said it was like 8,000, but I'm not
Jesus.
positive on that.
And that's just like normally playing the game. That wouldn't be like
Yeah,
exclusively
right.
farming it, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Uh crazy. Um okay. I want to ask now. I I already feel like I've asked you this, but I haven't. It must have been Tanner or Automelogy. What do you think about free to play agility?
Yeah, so this is a pretty big topic. I I did listen to both of their podcasts, and I think I probably have the same exact answer as them. Like, uh, I really don't like them adding things to free to play. However, if it were to be added, that would definitely, or if they had to add a skill, it would definitely have to be agility.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I just really like agility for one. Um, and it wouldn't like really break the game too much. It would just, I mean, run energy is not really an issue for us anymore because we have energy potions, um, in which we use for Runecraft. That's really the only use for it. But yeah, I don't know. I guess they might add like an additional course, probably some more shortcuts or something. That would be okay, I guess. Um, but I just want to say like I really don't want any members content being added to free to play. I think that can be a slippery slope because they've done it in RS3 and it's just really stupid. Like they have so much stuff that's used to be members that is free to play in RS3. Like I think like Mystic is free to play and like maybe some dragon armor. I'm not sure on that, but they've definitely added a lot of stuff to that game.
Okay. Interesting. I was thinking, let's just say theoretically, agility did come out to free to play. Let's just say tomorrow.
Hmm.
What do you think? Who do you think would be the first person to 99 or 200 mil agility for free to play?
Uh, I don't know. It, I'm not positive. It wouldn't be me because I'm pretty busy with things, so I would not be able to play much.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to no life it. Definitely wouldn't be the first to 99, I don't think. Maybe I could maybe do 200 mil if it was like super slow and nobody else wanted to go for it, then I could probably get it. But um, yeah, I don't know. There's not like a pretty much everybody in free to play currently. plays sort of casually, and by that I mean like maybe like 20 to 45 hours a week.
Okay.
Nobody does like, 80 hours a week at all.
What does min-level
Uh,
Skilla do? I know he's an
okay,
ultimate.
that's a different
Is he
person
just
though.
out
Yeah,
of your guys' league or what?
he just consistently does like 60 to 80 hours a week. I think he's actually increased his hours like from when he started somehow.
Oh my god.
So he definitely is gaining like a lot, but you don't really see it because, he's getting it at
Way low
2k
rates.
XP per hour. So, yeah.
Does would he go for 200 mil agility?
Oh,
Off the bat?
absolutely.
Like, do
Because
you think
his
he'd be
only
first?
maybe actually, you know what? You're right. He would at least go for 99 because it would be more efficient for him to do Runecraft if he had 99 agility. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if he'd go for 200 mil, but he would probably, I want to say he would probably get 99 agility and then probably finish off his current RC goal is what I would guess.
And that's 25 mil, if I
That is,
recall
yeah,
correctly.
25 mil Runecraft, 10,000 hours of Runecrafting.
Jesus Christ. That is insane. There is something pretty cool. What method does he do? Is that just Earth runes? I honestly don't even know the
No.
method for ultimates.
Yeah, it's a little complicated to explain. I'm not even positive like the route exactly, but essentially he takes advantage of the Shanty Pass teleport. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay.
You'll explain it for me.
Yeah, yeah. So, you can talk to Shanty and Shanty Pass, and tell him you're an outlaw, and he'll put
Oh,
you, yeah, yeah, he'll put you in jail. And then you can go through some dialogue, and he teleports you to Port Sarum, and then you can
okay.
pick the lock and escape the jail. You can do this in free to play. It doesn't give you thieving XP, but yeah. So basically, he uses that to get to the air altar or Falador in general as a level 3 Ultimate Iron Man. And then he goes to the crafting guild and gets silver, I think. And I think he gets a full inventory. I'm not exactly like positive on the route. It's something like this. And he smelts it in Falador. And I think what he does is he drops the inventory. I'm not sure on this. He somehow gets a full inventory of air talismans from the Duke in Lumbridge by going through the dialogue without actually completing rune mysteries. You can reclaim them.
Okay.
So he gets a full inventory of those, and he gets a full inventory of tiaras. Uh, and he like drops some of them, goes into the altar, runecrafts air tiaras, comes back out, finishes the rest, suicides at the nearby highwayman to get back to Lumbridge, and then goes to the Duke again,
And then
and then
goes,
goes to Shanty. Yeah, something along
Jesus
those
Christ.
lines.
That
Yeah,
I'm
it's really
not even gonna lie,
complicated.
that's pretty cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
That'd be cool for like 10 trips. And then you're like, geez,
Mhm.
this is kind of a lot of effort to put it. And he's
It
getting
is.
what, 2k XP an hour, you said?
Yeah, so you can get 2.5k XP per hour runecraft, but you also get some smithing and
Oh, that's
crafting,
true.
which gives EHP. So it's actually more efficient for Iron Man to do that method, even though it's higher runecraft to do like Earth runes or whatever.
The effective
Um,
rate's just higher doing that.
exactly. Yeah.
So what is the effective rate then of RC doing that method he's doing? Do you know?
Uh,
Like
you mean like overall EHP
yeah, I guess
or?
like because he's getting
I,
smithing and other things like that. Like what is or
well, I
crafting, I
guess
guess.
for one, there is no like level 3 free to play Ultimate Iron Man EHP, so
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure on that. But
Interesting.
he does get it is more efficient overall to get that than do Earth Runes. I think you can get like 3.8k, maybe even higher now with the Adamant Pickaxe method.
Yeah, the two
Um,
ticking.
yeah, the 2 tick method. It might be higher, maybe more like 4k at this point. I'm not sure. Uh, but it is more efficient to do air TRs for Iron Man in general,
I
as far
l-
as I'm aware.
I love that Addy pick method. I just think that's so cool that you use a lower
Yeah.
pick and can get a tick manipulation kind of started on your own.
Mhm. I have no idea how they found that, by the way.
It's so weird because so many of these things it's just like it makes so much sense. It's like why did we not figure this out like so long ago? In fact, if somebody had just used their brain a little bit harder back in like 2013, Addy pick makes perfect sense. Well, again, I don't know. I didn't play back then. Of course, there's been so much knowledge just given out like to the public to figure out these things. But I'm just thinking like there's a way to do like a 2-tick. Well, I guess it's like 4-tick sandstone, stuff like that. So I'm just thinking back in Acid Souls time, if he was using an Addy pick instead of what he was currently using, like he would get higher rates. But it's just like, and that's like without any herb tar or anything. You're just using the pickaxe and clicking. I don't know. It's interesting to me how long it took.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I wouldn't have known any of that.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I wouldn't have either until I saw. I think somebody was doing it at instead of 1.5 tick teaks, they were doing 2 tick teaks without any knife log anything, and I was like, that is cool. And so
yeah,
it just translates over to everything else. In fact, the coolest method with an Addy pickaxe is Amethyst, because it's 2-ticking Amethyst, but you only need to click once every 4 ticks. It's insane. It's just like, it's just so cool. Yeah, because literally you're just clicking the next Amethyst spot, which automatically moves you, and you click the spot. And so you literally only click once every 4 ticks. It's just cool. It's like, wow. This is so brain dead, but there's still rhythm to it.
Does that work with like MLM?
No, which is a shame, because it's just it has nothing to do with the skilling timer.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it would be cool though if there was another thing similar to. Actually, you could do it at Camdoza.
Oh right, the Baronite.
Yeah, you could actually do 2-tick Camdoza.
I think when that came out, I did try it with like cakes to do 1.5 tick or whatever. It wasn't very good though. So.
Yeah, what's the rate for like AFK and Camdoza? I know they were trying to make something sort of competitive. I think they failed with that, but
so currently, last time I checked it, after they finished updating it, it was like 18K an hour. And they also decreased how AFK it was too. So it's actually like not very. I mean, it's kind of AFK still, but it's not very AFK like it used to be. So,
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that it could actually be tick manipulated. But the fishing spots can't. It appeared. Yeah. I recently did that. That was actually kind of a fun grind. I don't know if you finished that in the collection log.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, when I did it though, like the mining, I was already testing it, so I got that piece really quickly. The fishing was like 2 fish, I got it. And then I think the smithing thing I got pretty quickly too. But then when I got to the body golems, it took me like 8 hours to get that piece.
Jesus, see, it only took me like 5 golems to get.
That's what everybody says, but Freck and I have just been struggling with it for some reason.
I'm glad I got that one out of the way, but the mining one took a while. That was kind of a fun little grind, I think. I don't know. What do you think about it? I know you get very, very, very few updates, so, and I know you're against updates for the most part, but what did you think about that overall?
I'm glad that it isn't totally game breaking like everybody thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
When it did come out, there was so the Baronite mining method was very AFK. I think it was probably more AFK than Motherlode Mine.
Oh wow.
And it was 50K an hour. But that was kind of because of a bug that was going on with the like boost scaling that you could claim as a reward. I think they just messed something up with that, so it was actually giving you higher rates than they intended. I don't even think so another thing, I don't think they tested a single rate. Like they just literally picked random numbers and associated them with things. Didn't think about it at all.
God.
Like I would be willing to like bet everything on that. Like I'm telling you, they don't think about updates one bit.
Love it. I will say they are pretty bad with the numbers they give with a lot of things. I know this is completely out of your realm, but for Raids 3, they're offering a new weapon called the Fang of Osmumten. And the calculations they based off the DPS. So basically they're saying this new Fang, it's like it's a one-handed weapon. That's 5 ticks. And they are saying in the blog clearly that this will be as good as a Grazi Rapier, but against high-level defense, this will surpass the Grazi Rapier. And it is just complete bullshit. It is just a complete lie, because the way they base the calculations off is if you are completely naked just wearing those swords. Like, they're not taking into account the, like, plus 70 strength you would get for wearing max melee, which severely reduces anything that's a slower attacking weapon. It's just, like, so easy to recognize that, but they literally are basing off DPS calcs based on just wearing that weapon exclusively. So the entire time I'm thinking, I'm kind of, like, almost trusting Jagex. I'm like, oh, this is a cool new weapon that's going to be on par with a Rapier. It is literally worse than a Zamorakian spear without an Avernic.
Right.
Like, it's horrible. And, like, everyone in their mind is just, like, kind of trusting Jagex, like, oh, this is going to be like a Rapier. No, it's horrible. And so I totally understand, like, the rates they do are just, it's hit or miss, honestly.
Yeah. So what I think they do is they arbitrarily pick numbers and they release it, and if people complain, then they change it. That's genuinely how their system works. Like, I think their QA testers probably, like, you know, play the content, but I don't know, like, how in depth they really go with it. I feel like they probably should, though. Like, I don't know, some of these things could be like truly game breaking, depending on what they're updating.
Yeah.
I mean, free to play, like, updates like that, it was not a big deal. Like, but I think, I don't know, people got a little upset about it pretty quickly.
Yeah. B, or Bugs Online, is asking, any desire to get 200 mils in any member skills, whether it be a whole other account after free to play completion on Pawz? Let me ask you real quick before you cover this. How many hours is it to 200 mil all, like, in total, efficiently, and then for you, I guess, like, from scratch, if you were to do every efficient method, what's the hours?
I believe, I don't know the exact number, but it is 25,000 hours currently with the HP rates.
Jesus. What would be the hardest skill to upkeep efficiently? Is that runecrafting?
Yeah, definitely runecrafting. There's a few issues with runecrafting. Maybe we could save this for, I know there's another Twitter question that kind of would be that answer.
If
so
you want,
maybe
we
we'll
can just
save
go
on
into it, and then we'll just
that. Okay, yeah,
skip
sure.
over.
Yeah, so Runecraft, yeah, definitely the hardest skill in free to play at the moment. That's not just because, you know, it's notoriously a hard skill. It's because there's a couple factors with it. One is that the main method, most efficient method, which is body tiara runecrafting, is currently 55 GP per XP without the use of runners. And that's only about 55 to 60k XP per hour. Another downside to it is that it's you have to do it in a PvP world because the Lumbridge bank chest is the fastest bank to use with a teleport in free to play. And the reason that it's an issue in PvP is obviously because of PKers, but I guess now more than ever, there are people who literally camp the body altar and try and, like, force people to pay them so that they'll stop ragging.
Jesus
I know
Christ.
Freck has had, like, such a huge issue with this because he's trying to go for 200 mil Runecraft right now. You think he's at like 25 mil. But yeah, he's had multiple encounters with people who just rag him for weeks and weeks and weeks, like every single day.
So fucking sad.
It's really unfortunate. So the skill is, like, definitely the worst to train for to play right now. Yeah.
Real quick, what would you be okay with one of the two options? Either bank chests are harder to reach in pay to play, or there is a quick bank that maybe comes from some reward. I don't even know. Some other way to bank fast so PvP isn't essential. Do you think that's necessary?
Yeah, so if I were in charge of this update, like, to make it better in some way, the two things I would do is I would remove the chest in PvP worlds in free to play, at least, because I don't know. You don't really need it there. It's just kind of there for the convenience of PKers, but
Yeah.
there's still a bank and a safe zone there. So, um, and the second thing I would do would be to add uh like a drop from an NPC, preferably like a boss, of noted body talismans, because currently every body talisman drop in the game is only drops one at a time, and most of them, actually pretty much all of them, are medium to rarity according to the wiki. Uh, and the only things that people actually kill are hill giants, which drop one at a time every 64, 1 in 64. And then Dag Kings, it's like 1 in 896 or something. So like those are the only monsters that people like actually kill on that too. So that's why they're so rare.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
Yeah. So giving a better output of those through monster drops.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm curious. The Duke at Lumbridge gives free air talismans, you said?
Yep.
As long as you go through
Yep.
like a dialogue, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
What would you think about a body thing that you could go through some dialogue, or do you think that's just dumb?
Oh, if it were up to me, body talismans would be free. I hate buyables. I hate making money.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. So
Yeah. Okay. You say that. I'm curious. Clearly your account is insanely progressed. Do you regret not having made it an Iron Man, or do you enjoy for the most part the main free to play?
I don't regret it at all. I definitely enjoy the main more. I think there's more interesting methods. My reasoning, so Iron Man was out when free to play came out, so I did consider making an Iron Man when I made this account. But I don't know, for some reason, I figured it's a brand new game. Maybe I can try and get a rank 1 in
True.
this free to play game for, a short period of time. So I figured if I was an Iron Man, I definitely couldn't maintain that at all. So that was my initial reasoning. Yeah, and I probably won't ever play a free to play Iron Man, just because, for one, it takes like way too long to make any serious progress, and there's not really an end to it ever. So I think it's more feasible to play a regular. So
I don't know if I've leaked this already, but Minalinsky is going to be on the podcast next week, and he has the same. Of course, he's a member, but he thinks the same thing. He would rather play a main over an Iron Man because the methods are more interesting, and I can completely agree with that. The other thing he likes about it is that you can go for skills straight, and you don't really have to worry about being too macro. You can just enjoy a skill all the way through for the most part, which is something you just really shouldn't be doing on an Iron Man, because there's so much that's like macro based.
Yep, exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so I don't know if we've even covered this, but his question was, any desire to get 200 mils and any member skills, whether it be a whole other account after free to play completion. So
yeah, so I didn't mention this, but when I was going for 200 mil fishing XP, I was actually playing another account simultaneously to pass the time. I do enjoy playing alts. I'm not a huge fan of making money on alts, but I do that too. But anyway, I was playing a Ultimate Iron Man pay to play. It was also 3 combat at the time. I think it's like just 10 HP now. But anyway, I was playing that. And I started doing agility, the roof courses. I'm not really sure why I started. I just kind of started doing it at one time, and I really enjoyed doing it, so I just kept doing it. And I got to 28 mil agility before the end of 200 mil fishing. So I think I'm still like top page Ultimate Iron Man agility on that somehow. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe, so to answer this guy's question, and this also kind of has like a practical reason. I think I might finish 200 mil agility on this account at some point, because so Sepulcher came out, and you can apparently make like what, 4 mil an hour or something like that.
It's insane. For mains, it's insane. The rings.
Yeah.
Of it.
How, like, I'm not sure how like doable that would be on an Ironman, especially an Ultimate Ironman. But maybe there could be some way I could profit in terms of GP for my main account on that account
easily.
while also progressing it. Yeah, so I'm considering probably at some point in order to afford Bibles, and this kind of answers Freck's question that he asked. How I'm going to afford 200 mil all is I maybe, depending on what updates happen in the future, we'll probably do Sepulcher on that account to 200 mil. I think that would be kind of fun.
The coolest part about like Sepulcher, I guess for an Ultimate Ironman, I'm just thinking is you don't even need stams. You just use those little
Yeah, you
pillars.
just pray at the
Yeah.
It's cool.
Pretty OP. What do you think about Sepulcher, and how many hours have you done already of it?
I have not done a single hour of it.
Really?
I've just seen people do it.
Oh my god, dude. It is so fun. It is so much fun.
I've heard.
Man. It's pretty rough at the beginning for most people. I mean, it was rough for me because you just don't know. You don't know the cycles of things, and especially if there's another player on the same world as you, things get weird.
Yeah.
But
it definitely seems like it was a really good update.
yeah.
I know I've watched a few of your videos, and I know your stance on it. You don't like the GP and the XP per hour is a little too high, but I agree.
For the
but
most
it's still a
part,
good method.
for the most part, it's like the pros outweigh the cons. It's just a really, really well designed piece of content. So that would be, I think that would be cool to go for. How many people? How many UIMs do have 200 mil? Is that top page already filled?
Only one.
Is it still Kepi?
It's still just Kepi.
I want to hear your thoughts about Kepi.
Yeah.
He randomly just fell off the face of the earth, it feels like.
Yeah, that honestly he might have been the reason I was doing agility. I don't remember exactly. I've always been a big fan. He used to hang out in Jebram's CC, and I would hang out in that clan too, when I was doing agility and talk to him occasionally. But I thought his account was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I did do a bit of the method that he was doing for crafting because I just want to see what it would be like to do that. It was pretty fun. The seaweed and
what
glass blowing.
So you did that method. What is the XP rate per hour? Because I've always just guessed. I thought it was like 20 something.
It's about 25k, 28k an hour, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. For those that are unaware, Kepi 42 got like 138 or 136,
Something like that.
Somewhere in the 130 mil crafting XP on his UIM, getting under 30k XP an hour, which is dirty. And he's been at 130 mil for, I swear, like 4 years at this point. Like, so that was all he was doing. He got 200 mil agility, and then pretty sure he went to that.
Yep.
That's crazy. So, you said you talked to him. Was he pretty social, or was he kind of to himself?
Yeah, he talked to people a lot. Answered people's questions. He's kind of similar to mid-level skill as a player, I'd say. Like, you don't think they would be very social, but they do communicate with people pretty often. But it's usually only like if somebody's asking them a question.
Yeah, they're gamers. They don't need to start sparking up conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Olympus feels like. You know, like the true top gamers, like they'll respond and they'll, have really good things to say, interesting things, but they're never out there like trying to just have small talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really sad for me to see when, because believe it or not, he was the reason as well that I wanted to go for 200 mil crafting on my first hardcore. It was because I saw him. He was just leaps ahead of anybody else for crafting in Ironman or Ultimate, and I was like, wow, that would be so cool to be like placed next to him, on the high scores.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I wonder, like, you see these gamers and you just think like they'll never burn, they're like invincible to burn, but then it happens and you're like, wow, that was unexpected.
Yeah, I was not expecting him to burn out, honestly. I mean, same with like I don't expect mid-level skill to burn out, but I guess I don't know, everyone is apparently capable. I don't know. I'm not sure if Min will ever get to that point. He doesn't plan on stopping, so
that's what I see about Higer. Higer is one of those people where it's like, now I have full confidence. Whatever he's doing, he will achieve. and so that's probably min level. I'm too unfamiliar with min level skill because free to play is so niche. But what you've talked about and what Automelogy has talked about him, he sounds like a total beast that'll never quit.
Yeah.
So I want to hear from you. So, there's players that we look up to. I remember even Sae Bae, he was, rank 1 Ironman for some time. He had a very good balance of like PVM and skilling, so he wasn't exclusive to it. But I mean, he has been hacked recently. I don't know if you know who Sae Bae is.
I've heard the name. I don't really know him too well.
Yeah, he was rank 1 Ironman for a time. When Lelador burnt out, Sae Bae passed him, and then he was rank 1 for a time.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it's just he recently got hacked. I mean, he burnt out for like 2 years, and then he actually got hacked, and so now he just has no plan to return at all. But it was so weird to me because I always just thought he was just doing his thing. It's so crazy to see people flatline. I can see people get toasted and still playing here and there, but like flatlining is just something different. I can't imagine myself doing that. What do you think? Like, have you ever been in a stage where you're just actually burnt and you consider flatlining? Or
so far no. I've definitely been like less motivated to play. Probably usually because I'm more motivated to do other things.
Yeah.
I have multiple hobbies, but yeah, I don't know. I can't see myself ever actually stopping playing this game ever. It's just how I feel right now.
Maybe that is because you have a good balance, though. I mean, like you do have other things you enjoy. I feel like maybe if people put all their attention into one thing, then the flat line almost is inevitable.
Yeah. Some people are very like focused, I feel like. They can only like, but they're really good at that. Like I know not to like I don't mean this in any bad way at all. I think he's a great player, but the player Enjoys, I know you're probably familiar with him, right?
Yeah. Somewhat.
He's like kind of like an all or nothing. Like he just will put in 140 hours a week, like easily, like just playing regularly, or he'll just not play much at all. It's just how he operates.
Yeah. No, I think that's just how you're built almost. I'm not built that way. I'm built to be very consistent, but very, I don't know. People on Reddit would think I am going 100% of the time, but like, I'm fortunate enough to be able to play this game a lot of hours, but for the past 4 years, I've averaged over 8 hours a day.
Yeah. Same with me, honestly. Like, I feel like people probably see my account and just think I play an absurd amount of time.
I know, but nonstop.
I just put in, I've only put in like maybe 20 EHP, 30 EHP a week on average, like over time. And I guess I was playing a lot to begin with, but I have other things I do now. So
yeah. And I feel like that's like a recipe for success long term is to be able to just put in a good amount of hours without trying to be number one for the week or anything like that. And in fact, when I'm talking hours, I'm not even talking EHP. I'm just talking about like hours logged in. So my EHP is way lower than that. But yeah. Okay. We already kind of covered it, but 8 is asking thoughts on a new free-to-play skill. I think you said if there was any, it'd be agility, correct?
Yep. Yeah, like, so the other things that have been proposed are fletching and Slayer. I'm pretty sure that was about it. But yeah, I would not like either of those skills at all. I think Slayer would be absolutely horrible in free-to-play. It would, in all likelihood, be like 15K an hour max, I feel like.
Just give it a couple years, it'll be like 70K.
True, that's true. But at the same time, they don't really update free to play that much. That's true. I have a feeling they might, if they were to do that, they would just give all the weird monsters that nobody kills and give that to free to play, like the ones in the Slayer Tower or whatever.
Yeah. Crawling hands and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That would just be free to play. And those are awful to kill, obviously. So
I'm sorry. I just need to go on a little tangent. I think it would. Yeah. Again, I am not free to play, but if that were to happen, Slayer did get released, it would be kind of cool if it was. And again, my opinion, completely irrelevant because I don't play it. But a new dungeon similar to the Slayer or to the Stronghold of Security that has those little like, crawling hands and rock slugs and shit like that. Like, I don't know, little dungeon where everyone's just doing their tasks, but you only get like limited monsters. I don't know. It'd be kind of a little nostalgia to that. I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of my reasoning is probably just because I'm being selfish because like another 8,000 hours or whatever it would be. I don't know what it would be, but on top of what I'm already doing would just be stupid.
And you
I
would be
wouldn't wanna
at
do that.
200 mil melees by the time you're like
Yeah,
50 mil Slayer, and you just have
that's also kind of an upside because that means that nobody can like AFK fleshies or spiders and get EHP anymore. That would be really nice.
to.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
because they'd be 0 EHP for those skills.
yep. It'd be interesting. Uh,
Yeah,
you were talking about in your latest progress video about sorry, we haven't even covered fletching. I'm just moving on like so
that's all
fast,
right.
but we can cover that as well. Actually, you know what? Let's cover that first. I'll try to remember what I'm thinking of. What I am thinking of, just so you're aware, is I want to talk about Ashes, the new Ashes that came out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
before that, what would you think about fletching? In fact, I don't know who I heard it by or heard it from, but somebody was a fan of free to play fletching because it would almost make sense.
Yeah, I think it was probably Automelogy. I feel like he said that.
Yeah, it must have been him.
Yeah, pretty quick. I wouldn't like it again for selfish reasons because it would add another multi-skilling skill. So we already have magic, and I'm like struggling to do magic with other skills. I just don't like. I mean, I used to like alching a lot with like fishing, but with mining, you have to do it with every single rock to be efficient
Mm,
to superheat. And I could have done that. I could have been 200 mil magic by now, but I just couldn't keep up with it. I was just not feeling it. So
probably not as enjoyable.
nah. So I wouldn't like it for that reason. But it also would be kind of cool to see like the more micro efficient players like see what they can do with fletching, like in addition to other like multi skilling things. Are you familiar with like Yelsos and Orange Sea?
I'm not.
Um, Enjoys. He actually made a free to play account. I don't know if you know that either.
No.
Those guys are insane. See if you can, for the people watching, see if you can find them on YouTube. They have some ridiculous free to play skilling clips of them doing like several things simultaneously with skilling. So that would be pretty cool to see. But I wouldn't want it as a skill because it's also one of the skills that noobs do, like cooking. They just like to sit at a bank and do it, you know.
Okay,
So
to give a counter argument, what if it released a way to start a 3-tick action? So I don't think Mahoganies or Teaks are even free to play, so that wouldn't. Those are usually the things that you would knife log to start a 3-tick action, but I don't know. What would you think about if there was some other item you could fletch that would be start a 3-tick action? Would that almost incentivize fletching for you, or would you still be against it?
I would still be against it, but it would open up a few methods, like as I mentioned, the 2.5 tick mining. You could also do it with woodcutting, so you could do 2.5 tick woodcutting as well. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Like if you're on a PvP world, you could have an alt splash you, and you could use that 3-tick action to also 2.5 tick. That's also a viable method. Not sure about fishing, but I maybe with like harpoon, that could be a thing as well.
Okay. Okay, the other thing I wanted to ask was Ashes that came out. You recently in your progress video were talking about that you can bury big bones and do Ashes simultaneously. So
Mhm.
they'll each have their own 2-tick delay.
Yeah.
What do you think about that as a free to play account?
hmm
And what's the prices as well? I'm curious. How expensive is that?
I'm
Now
gonna
that
have to
they've
look
kind
it
of
up.
settled ish.
Yeah. So we were not expecting that. We were definitely like, you know, I kind of saw it coming that they're going to add ashes to the game at some point because it's an RS3 free to play, and it seems like it seems logical. Like a demon should drop like a prayer, you know,
Yeah.
training method of some sort, like every other monster does. I guess that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I personally was not expecting them to be doable simultaneously, but I have a feeling they might have just like copied the RS3 code or something like that to so they didn't have to put in as much effort. Um, I'm just looking up the GP per XP right now. So it's both of them are 518 GP total divided by 40. So it's about 13 GP per XP right now. That would be about 2.5 bill for 200 mil XP. That's not awful. When I did 99 prayer, big bones were very high. I did it at about 25 GP per XP.
Ooh.
So that sucked. But so 15 isn't terrible for how free to play is, but I guess free to play has less skills to worry about than members, so it evens out, I guess.
Is it more engaging? I think there's like
Oh,
multiple
absolutely.
ways to do prayer. I think you could do like with
Mhm.
fire making as well, but
Yeah. So fire making, that's part of the EHP right now is burying or scattering ashes while fire making. There are methods you could do that increase that number, like the ratio, I mean, like Um, but currently it's only one ash per log is the EHP rate. So
okay.
yeah,
So do you do like would people do ash bone and then log, or is that just not even like a
that could be
method?
that. Yeah. So when I was talking about crazy skilling clips, Enjoys, Yelsos, they do that stuff. So yeah, that
Okay.
is possible. And they also like cook and do other crazy stuff simultaneously as
During it.
well. Yeah,
So if
during that.
fletching came out, it'd be even dirtier.
It would be more insane, yeah. I mean, Enjoys has done that on his main account, and have you ever seen his skilling clips at all? Or
I think I'm subbed to him on YouTube. Actually,
yeah,
like it must have been like years ago though that I've seen this. So I
mm.
I might not have seen his most recent clips.
He's absolutely insane. He's definitely like the best micro player in the game by far.
That's insane. Yeah. That would there. I mean, they've talked about adding a new skill to members, and I really, really wonder. I don't think I'm opposed to or really for a new skill. I think sailing would be a really cool skill for members. But again, this is my idea of sailing. Like perfectly balanced, everything. And so there's gonna be some weird shit if it did come out. But the thing that would scare me and almost kind of excite me in the same way is everyone's max capes would be gone for a time.
Yeah,
Like nobody could wear it. Everyone would just kind of be
I
struggling,
forgot about that.
That would be the craziest part of it all is
Yeah,
Maxcape is like first of all, it's incredibly busted and it's
absolutely.
so essential to not essential. It's such a what's the word for it? Yeah, just whatever the other word is that I'm thinking of.
Mhm.
It's quality. It's insane quality of life. And if you lost it, you would go insane. So
Right.
I would kind of like to see that simply because I wouldn't be the only one suffering. Everybody would be. And then there would be a
Yeah.
race. And that race would be extremely exciting to see who would be the first one to 200 mil. Um, what do you think about skill capes in free to play?
I uh I don't like it at all. I know some free to play players wouldn't mind it, but uh something I think about is like the free to play feel is something I refer to it as. It's like if you were to see a bunch of people walking around with I don't know, something you would associate with members like skill capes,
And pets
maybe
and
like
stuff.
pets, dragon
Yeah.
armor, anything like that. It wouldn't feel like free to play anymore. I know there's stuff like the RuneLite plugins that make you wear whatever you want, but I don't have that stuff turned on.
I turned it
uh
off. I can't deal
yeah,
with it.
right. Uh Yeah, I would not like skill capes, especially if there's perks. I think if they were to add it though, they wouldn't have perks or anything. But I
Yeah,
really, really hope they don't add them because
that's fair.
I don't like them and for that reason.
So you do play a little bit of members. What would you think about I guess in your opinion, completionist capes slash 200 mil capes
Mm.
or 120 capes? There's been a lot of talk on that recently.
Mhm.
What
I
are your
was
thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that like the completionist cape stuff. I was wondering like thinking about that. I was like, why isn't that in the game? That seems like a logical thing to add. As long as it doesn't give me anything ridiculous like perk wise like max cape does, I think it would be fine.
Yeah.
I really like completionist stuff because it's something beyond skilling that is like, I don't know. It's like I know you really like clue scrolls, and I'm a big fan of them too. It's just like mastering doing clue scrolls is like a really long process, I feel like, if you were to get everything perfectly. Uh, I don't know. I feel like it's like a skill in itself to do all that stuff too.
Yeah. I,
I would be a big fan of that though.
I'm kind of surprised that you would say that. I think I'm down for a completionist. There's always the argument that then people will start spite voting to add certain things because they want to keep their completionist cape, and
Oh yeah, good point.
things get
Yeah.
easier because people want their completionist cape. And
Okay,
so,
yeah. Okay, that's a good point. I should have thought about that because like I also kind of don't like the max cape for the reason that it like incentivizes people to go for max and they feel like they're forced to.
yep.
And then that makes buyable prices go up because like everybody's got to get it now because it has all these perks. So yeah, that's definitely not something I would want either just for that. Same with like if they're at a I get this question a lot is people want to know if I would like a free to play max cape, and even if it was like the most ugly cape in the world and had no perks, I wouldn't want it for that reason because it gives people incentive
A
to do
reason
things.
to do it. Yeah.
I think if you want to go for 99s, you should. I don't think you need a reason to like beyond your own ambitions.
Yeah. And as much as there is that argument toward that, I still think a completionist cape would be cool, but my idea of a completionist cape, so not I have two ideas. One is like a collection log cape. So it is
Mm,
exclusively collection log, so it wouldn't have
yeah.
anything to do with any other aspect. It would just be like there'd be tiers, so like every
Hmm.
100 collection log slots you'd get a new little upgraded cape, and it wouldn't have anything special. Maybe one teleport to like I don't even know, something relevant to collection log stuff.
Hmm.
But my other idea for a completionist cape would just be all music tracks, all quests, all achievement diaries, all combat tasks, and then being maxed. So it wouldn't have anything to do with collection logs. And the reason I would want that is because then people wouldn't spite vote to not get new content into the game. So
Yeah.
it would just be like the very simple stuff showing that you've gotten all the main like foundations of your account. And it wouldn't be something that needs to be like kind of kept after every single week when anything comes out. That would be really obnoxious.
Yeah. I guess the thing with that though is if they were to do like every 100, like they would have to come out with a remember to come out with a new cape if there's like more than another 100 items
Yeah.
added to the collection log. So
Yeah, but and so like those are two separate ideas, the collection log
yeah.
or the completionist. The collection log cape I think is really cool because it actually like almost opposes the thing of like spite voting to add new content. You'd almost want new content to come out just so you can kind of like have another route to get to the next cape
Yeah,
upgrade.
true. Yeah.
I don't know how I'd feel about the whole thing. Like, I was even thinking, what if it's not even a cape, a collection log sash that goes in your blessing slot, just something that can
Hmm.
like a Boy Scout little sash that goes over your badges. Every badge is another 100 slots or some shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'd be pretty cool.
yeah, things I've thought of. So I know you probably don't think much about that. I am curious. So you play Pawz. What other accounts do you actively play? You have that Ultimate Iron Man as well.
Yeah, I haven't played that Ultimate in a while. I used to. Maybe eventually, as I said, I'll pick it back up. But I play two GP ults currently. I just mine Amethyst pretty passively while I mine Iron on my main. I only make maybe like 700 to 800K an hour with that, but yeah, one of them has like 50 mil mining XP, and the other one's got like 25 mil XP. So I've also got a lot more mining XP on other accounts as well. uh, I also started playing a Zaya only account. For some reason, I was motivated to do that. I'm not sure what did that, but I just kind of played that passively. I'm not doing it right now, but I probably will pick it back up just to you know, have something to do on the side while I'm mining on my main. Uh, some people think that what I do on my main is pretty click intensive, but it's not really. Like once you have the timing down, it's a lot less click intensive than like uh like 4G, for example.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because like the three tick action is just created by being attacked. Like I don't have to click anything, so
Yeah.
that minimizes the amount of clicks a lot. So
It must put you just in like a flow state. Just
yeah, it
you're
definitely
probably
does.
so built into your muscle memory. Just
I can like pretty much close my eyes and do mining at this point.
so do you go off of sounds?
No, I mean I've never tried that actually. It'd be interesting. Test that out.
Yeah. Are wait, so I need to ask, do you play with sounds ever? Or are you a no sound gamer?
No, I absolutely don't play with sounds
Ever?
unless it's just to check them out, like for some reason.
See, I've always been a
Yeah.
sound gamer. I love
Mm.
I've stopped being a music gamer. I always have music
Yeah.
off, but sound I think is essential in my
Mm.
experience. But
I got nothing on except for some Spotify.
are you I need to ask, are you like a musically inclined person in real life? Like do you play any instruments or sing or do you
Oh,
love music?
no, no, not at all. I'm a big fan of listening to music, but I don't sing or play any instruments or anything like
Okay.
that. No.
I mean, I don't anymore, but I feel like I've always sort of been musically inclined ever since I was young. So I think something with sounds that really helps me to like get into a rhythm, even if it's
Yeah.
just very basic, annoying RuneScape MIDI sounds, just those like crappy things. It's just something like, I don't know, it like triggers something in my brain that can help me to
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
continue.
Like using your senses to
Yeah, like you got to have
benefit
all of
you.
them. It's weird because sometimes, and this sounds so weird, almost probably people think I'm high or something, but I wonder if, because like I'm using my visual and my hearing sounds like when I'm playing this game. Nothing much else besides, I guess, touch sort of with my mouse. But I wonder if you could use like like every sense, and somehow there's like a
Oh my God.
smell or a taste that would like trigger your brain, and I don't even know. It sounds weird, but
The
I
true gamer
yeah,
right
like I
there.
I always wondered like if you used all your senses, like if you could just really engage yourself. Um, this is completely off topic, but I know I watched what Facebook's trying to do, create the metaverse or whatever. I don't know if you
Oh yeah.
have
Yeah.
any,
I heard about that.
yeah, and it's not about Facebook entirely. This isn't about Facebook or anything, but something about living in a virtual reality for the majority of the day, like, and they're
Mhm.
trying to make it more immersive. And I wonder, besides just audio and visual and maybe feeling, I wonder how immersive things can get. And I wonder if by using all five of your senses that you could truly just be in like this. I don't even know. Like,
Mhm.
uh,
I mean, well, like I think a lot of people that play RuneScape a lot of hours a day can probably say more about this too, but like just playing RuneScape alone, like just using your eyes to look at RuneScape, sometimes you like forget that you're even like a person. You're just playing RuneScape and you're
you've
totally immersed in
absorbed.
that.
You're
Yeah.
absorbed in this.
So I have a feeling if you use all of your senses to game, it'd probably be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Like I'm just staring at like the most tiny little screen and I'm already immersed. So
Yep. Yeah. Imagine that like a headset on where you're. It's still the same game, so you're not in like a first person view, but there's no other distractions around you. Like you're visually completely in the game. I wonder how that would be.
I would still play RuneScape on
I
it.
know. Okay, I'm curious. Is there any other game that you play, or like are you considered a gamer? Or are you considered a scaper like I am?
Uh, let's see. I I haven't really been into many games. I've played Minecraft in the past. I was pretty into that. I mean, I never really like played a lot of hours of it, like I do RuneScape, but I liked Minecraft for a bit. I don't really play it anymore. But recently, unfortunately, I should say, I've kind of gotten into playing Mario Kart on the Switch.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, because like it means that I'm like, while I'm playing RuneScape, I'm like, oh man, I kind of wish I could, race around a track for a bit right now, but
Yeah.
probably shouldn't. Yeah, it's my girlfriend's fault. I don't own the Switch. She just brought it over one day, and things have gone downhill from there. So,
Oh God. Have you ever posted something to Reddit where, well, that's the first question alone, but have you ever posted any sort of achievement in RuneScape and then people just critique your entire life?
yes, happens with every RuneScape video I upload. No. But yeah, I have posted things on Reddit. I think I didn't post max. I think somebody else posted my max. So, but of course, you still get criticisms.
Yeah.
I think I might have posted fishing, maybe. I posted when I hit 10,000 hours played. There's a lot of hate in that one. Uh,
Love it.
I'm actually getting like really close to 20,000 now. Probably should hit sometime next year.
I just hit 15,000 last week on the dot, so I didn't even post it. I've posted too much recently. People are analyzing my exact like annual income and everything based off of streaming.
Oh my God.
Everything.
Jeez.
Somebody linked me the comments where there's like an entire thread of like 50 comments like going into, oh, this degenerate's playing this many hours, started calculating like how many like hours a day and everything and streaming, and they started looking at my Twitch stats and everything.
Oh my God.
I'm flattered by it. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I
don't know if I'm gonna post anything else though. I think I'm kind of past the Reddit approval at this point.
Yeah.
As much as it is like it is kind of like beneficial in a way, like if you want to like grow a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel, it's useful for people to know like that you exist, I guess.
Yeah, just get exposure in any way possible almost.
Like I don't make any money from YouTube. Like I'm not monetized at all, but I just enjoy making YouTube videos, and it's nice when, people are actually watching your videos. So there is one benefit to it, I guess.
That's really cool. I also need to give a shout out to Tanner Dino. I was just in his stream, and of course I know he's not trying to do it for money or anything, but I always am curious looking down in people's panels below our stream, and he just said, if you want to donate to the, I think it was the free to play wiki or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it. It's just so humble. Like you could easily just, make like, a $5-10 donation here and there, but no, just donate to these guys. Very cool. Okay. Nord asks, what motivates you to play free to play? Big fan, by the way.
Thank you. Let's see. Honestly, I think this kind of like stems back to when I started in 2011 playing this account. I mentioned I was like a big account hopper at the time. Those people are kind of like, you kind of question what they do. Like, what's the point of like playing all these different accounts? For me, I was just like, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, I guess is the reason why I was doing that. But yeah, like I eventually was just like, you know what, I need to stick to an account. This is getting ridiculous. And I'm just gonna play this free to play only because it seems really interesting. I'm just gonna stick with it. So I told myself I was gonna do that, and I've been playing free to play only ever since. So that's part of the reason is like this is just something I've decided to do. And I guess also I've just made so much progress on this account. There's like no reason to ever do anything else. Like, and I also don't have any motivation to do anything else really besides this. So
yeah,
that's the reason I play free to play only. If I had made, I don't know, an Iron Man or just a regular pay to play account and I had gotten into it, that's what I would have been doing at the time. Like I would just stick to it with whatever I started with.
That's totally fair. That's me as well. I'm at the point where, have you ever been tempted to play leagues, or have you ever played leagues?
The Zaya only one seemed interesting, but the last one where you're like going through different like areas kind of seems stupid in my opinion. But if they did like a free to play world one, of course I would play. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
how could I pass that
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, I'm very just set on my account, and it's really hard for me to try to even enjoy the idea of making another account or playing
Yeah,
actively another account. So I'm totally with you.
right. You know, all your progress gets deleted too. That's a huge turn off, obviously.
Yeah, no, seriously. Just all deleted. All right. Well, you get a dragon trophy that you never will show off ever.
Yeah.
Unless you're running Artie. Levi, little quick shout. He says, "How does he get his voice to sound so sexy and
Oh
soothing?"
my God. I love that you asked this on the podcast.
I mean, to be honest, you do have a soothing voice.
I hear that a lot, but I don't know. I don't hear it at all. I think the reason why people think that though is I tend to record my videos in the mornings, because like later in the day, like my voice just like goes away, it gets super raspy for no reason. So
Interesting.
yeah,
You and Caleb both have that like. It's just like that kind of like you don't give a fuck kind of voice. Just you're just doing your thing. Like you don't really.
yeah,
I know that sounds strange, almost like a like not a compliment, but it is a compliment. It's just kind of like you're not trying to impress anybody. You're just doing your thing, and I think it's cool.
I I get that. Yeah, I don't hear it personally. Like when I listen to my own voice, I don't hear that at all. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I think my voice is just annoying as hell. I can't even. It's painful for me to even re-listen to parts of these
Yeah,
podcasts because I'm just.
editing videos sucks.
Yeah, it really does. Uh, you're like listening back, and the worst part is like when you're editing something that's very recent, and so you're almost anticipating what you're about to say next, and you're like, this is
Yeah.
gonna be cringe.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel too by myself.
Yeah, maybe we're just self-critical. That seems to be a very common thing. I think humans in general, for the most part, are pretty self-critical, unless you're like
Yeah.
a narcissist or something. I don't know. Okay. Box Terrier, best and worst free-to-play updates in OSRS. Do you want any pay-to-play content? Oh yeah, this is a good question. Is there any pay-to-play content that you would ask? Because there's a lot of things that you wouldn't want, but so I guess we'll cover both of those. Best and worst updates, and then is there anything that you would like?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to find this question real quick. Okay. So I guess probably one of my favorite updates is actually beginner clues, just because it kind of adds something to do after skilling that's just infinite, that I can just keep playing free to play. I think that's probably what I would do if I theoretically did get 200 mil all. Uh, but yeah, I like beginner clues a lot. It's kind of just like it makes sense to being free to play. There's like it's like a really newbie content, just like every other skilling method is, just like a low level resource or item that you have to craft or whatever. Uh, and but I also think the Skull Scepter updates were pretty good as well.
Yes.
It was kind of janky to begin with, like how it like just destroys after a few uses. I
Yeah,
hated
that was
that. That was stupid.
terrifying.
Yeah, it's like so there's literally no reason to ever teleport with it. It's only a reason to get it one time and then just keep it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was a good update. I like that they went back and fixed an existing item. I don't know if I would feel the same way about like if they did it to other items, but I just know I don't know. I felt like that was a good update. Worst updates, as I mentioned previously, is removing LMS competitive from free to play. I hate it.
It's so
So
stupid.
stupid. Their reasoning for it was just so dumb because they were doing it to remove bots, but I guess they're obviously financially motivated here. So now the bots have to get members in order to play it.
Yeah.
So the bots are still there. Everything is still as broken as it was because of bots, as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong, but I think I've heard that.
The
Uh,
biggest issue is just the collection log stuff. Like there's people with
yeah, yep,
whatever they're called, discontinued items.
yeah. I have the Dead Man top and legs, and I have the was it one win? I don't even remember what they are. The one win cape, the next one, and then the 50. I have those capes, but nothing past that. That's like one of my favorite outfits too. I mean, it's not to me. It's not really associated with members. I don't really see it as like it kind of reminds me, it kind of reminds me of I don't know if you ever played RS3. Actually, I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there was a mini game called Mobilizing Armies. It kind of reminds me of that outfit, and I like that one a lot. I always
Mhm.
like associated that with. It would be really cool to see like a level 3 skiller with that outfit on, and I think that's why I like this outfit. So anyway,
Okay. So what would you think? I know this is like a really I don't know what they should do. Obviously, you would just like them to bring it back completely. What if they just
yeah.
brought it back so you could just buy? You would have like free to play points,
Mhm.
and those free to play points could buy any of the untradables
Mhm.
that you can't just buy with GP. And the reason I say free to play points is because what
Yeah,
I don't want is bots to just get a bunch of points and then just switch to members real quick, cash out.
exactly. Yeah. So that would literally just fix the issue instead of just deleting it. But of course, deleting it from free to play is the easier solution. So that's what Jagex did.
That's so fucking stupid. I'm
Yeah.
pissed off for you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of like there's not there, it still exists. Like you can still play LMS and free to play, but you can't get points for it. Is how it works.
Yeah, that's
So,
so dumb. Okay, is there any pay to play content you would like to see in free to
uh,
play?
not really. I think the only thing that could be okay, I'd be okay with is like and this isn't really even pay to play content. It's just like how members have access to items they can three tick with. That's literally the only thing I could think of that I would want. Everything else can stay as it is. So.
Okay. All right. The free to play UIM asks, what is the consensus in the free to play community about the use of pay to play alts to fund free to play skills?
So back when I used to make videos in like 2015, in like 2016 around that time, I would get so many YouTube comments. It would take up all of my comment section pretty much. Is people calling me a cheater because I use pay to play alts. It was every video. It was like that. And I
Nice.
think that's probably what he's referring to. I think at the time though, it was like not generally acceptable to use alts amongst just the whole game,
Yeah.
not just free to play. Uh, I never really understood that argument, like how like, making money zero time is cheating because my argument at the time was like you wouldn't say that about like a level 3 skiller who's limiting himself to 3 combat, also limiting his alts to 3 combat. Like that just doesn't make any sense. Like
Yeah.
that's because like I'm limiting myself to free to play,
You're not even an
and
Iron Man. You're just
yeah, exactly. It's not like I don't know. I'm okay with like Iron Man using alts too. Like it's just how the game is. It's like as
yeah,
long
but it's
as
like
it's
the
within the
fact that
game
you
rules.
aren't an
Like
Iron Man. It's just weird that you'd even get so many comments like that.
yeah.
Interesting.
So the general consensus, I guess, I think today people don't care about free to play players using alts. It's a very very few amount of people in free to play at least that care if you do or not. There are people who intentionally just don't use alts, but usually those people don't care like either way what other people do.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if I'm getting a YouTube comment from somebody, it's just some pay to play person who has never done free to play, um, and they're like the type of person who probably like votes yes on every poll and loved the Zaya rune crafting update. That's how I feel. They're just some guy who just hasn't played the game at all.
Oh gosh. You've probably heard my thoughts. Maybe I don't know how much you've watched my rambles or Sae Bae Cast, but what's funny is like I had such a big problem with Zaya rune crafting. Stupidest update. But
Yeah,
I swear to
not
God,
silly.
even worse than that is the Chaos Altar for members for irons. It literally just
What happened
shaved.
to that?
So the Chaos Altar is the altar out in the wilderness where you can use bones on it, and you have a 50% chance of saving.
Oh, that chaos altar.
Yes.
Right.
So you literally just cut in half the time in one update, cut in half the time that prayer takes.
Yeah.
Which is just unbelievably stupid.
Yeah.
And pisses me off to no end.
I guess this is a topic I wanted to bring up, actually. So, like, updates that I think, I know it's not really my place to talk about this. Like, I'm just a free-to-play player who has nothing to do with these updates, but it just pisses me off, like, seeing stuff like that. Like, obviously, it breaks the Iron Man mode, but I also hate that Jagex loves to put skilling methods that are the best in the game in the wilderness so that
dumb.
they can get attacked by PKers.
It's
like that.
So
that's just their favorite thing to do. So that's one thing I hate. And then there's also like updates that just totally like broke certain skills, like they were Runecrafting. Like now anybody can just AFK and get 200 mil or whatever. That's one thing that sucks. Also, Volcanic Mine, horrible update. I know every high level community player loves to use it because then they can actually get 200 mil mining, but I hate it. That MLM can just stop existing.
Well, I will say, MLM is what, 50K an hour, like tops.
Yeah, but it's still something that you can AFK and
get
decent XP.
I have a way bigger problem. I mean, I kind of agree with both, but I think MLM is fair. At 99, you're getting 50K XP an hour, and it's not completely just dead AFK. I fucking hate MLM, so I'll just never even associate with it because I don't even think it's AFK. I just think it's hell.
Yeah.
And it's like you're competing with dumbasses that don't know what the timers work so wonky in the top floor of MLM, but people don't understand, and you can't work together because people are just like zombies watching Netflix and playing. So, but Volcanic Mine was literally pulled. I believe it was 85K an hour tops, with high efficiency. Like dangerous high efficiency teamwork. I mean, now it's like people say, with a certain alting method, it's like 105, 110K XP an hour. So that is my biggest issue with it. If it was still capped at 85K, you know what? I'd be okay with it because there is
skill, maybe.
There is effort involved in getting a team. That to me, I would just, first of all, I don't even do VM. I only do it for the teleports, for the elite clues. But I just don't like dealing with like setting up a team and then you need to go like do something IRL and you have to like tell your team or your teammate has something to do IRL and you have to like take a random like 5-minute break. It's like, what?
Yeah. The coordination's definitely an issue, especially like runners and Runecraft or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm okay with updates like that because, if you are going to go through the effort of coordinating, good for you. You deserve a little bit more XP than somebody at MLM. But yeah, that whole 105, 110K. Again, I don't know. It just, whatever. At least 3-tick 4G is better. Like if it surpassed that would be a completely other issue. Just horrible. But
yeah, that would be definitely an issue. Also, one other thing I forgot to mention. Winter Todd, of course, that sucks too.
Yeah. Winter Todd, I'm trying to think of who I talked about it with. I had a big issue with it. Today, honestly, I've stopped caring because it almost is nostalgic in a kind of sense. It's almost like the hardcore Iron Man starter kit, as cringe as that sounds, but it's like it almost is like a part of the game now. Whereas Volcanic Mine and Sae Bae Runecrafting could easily just be gone. I think, still against Winter Todd, but it is like the least of my issues now. I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. I have a bigger issue with Sae Bae Runecrafting and Chaos Altar. Yeah. Okay. Do you think Jagex should consider high-level free-to-play metas when making updates to free-to-play game mode? Is the experience of potential new players more or less important than high-level free-to-play community hours? Before you answer, I'm going to quickly share my thoughts on kind of JMod's. I kind of want to give a shout-out because, there are really qualified and really good J mods on the team that really do care about the game.
Yeah, I agree.
And it is a shame, kind of, but at the same time, I totally understand that they have to cater toward every player. As much as I would love to be a J mod and just get all the shit out that I want, it's like there are so many players playing this game, and I have to be aware of that, and I have to like empathize with that and like see a different point of view. But yeah, what are your thoughts on what he asked?
So yeah, I don't mind them like releasing content for new players for free to play. Of course, it would be nice if they considered like the higher level free to play players' opinion, of course. But for things like uh, what's it called, Below Ice Mountain, the Camdazal update, like I don't know, if I were a new player, I would not be able to find that at all. Like if I was just starting out in the game, like it would be perfect for a new player. But like for one, don't you need like 16 quest points or something? I don't know, it's something like that just to get it started. So you have to be like I don't know. Like the requirements for those skilling things are pretty low, so it would make sense for like a new player to start doing that right away. I don't know. I don't think I would be able to find that. I don't think that update was very well considered. I mean, it's kind of interesting in concepts, but I think there's a lot of things they need to work on with that sort of thing. Considering, I don't know, XP rates and that sort of stuff. They have, however, tried to get in contact with us before, like with this update. I think Tanner might have mentioned it on the podcast he was on. They did join a few Discords and free to play and get our feedback on things. This was kind of more so after release, though, I think, because there was a few broken things with that, obviously. I don't know. There's not really a whole lot that they need to consider from high level players because I don't know. I think our main concern is preservation of how it currently is. I think I think they can update free to play without having to sacrifice preservation. I think they can add things that are sort of like on the side. Like I think kind of how with their intentions with Zaya is like they added this brand new island so that they can just put whatever they want on it while preserving the rest of the game. Um, it's sort of like I think it's a good approach, sort of maybe. Yeah. So that's what I think about that topic.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be really tough to be a J mod. I'm just thinking of me
Yeah.
being in their shoes and like trying to really cater to everybody, but it's impossible to please everybody.
Yeah, I get that. I just want to say like I think if they just hired like a few people that like really have played the game before, I think they would understand like but they would better understand how like the players think towards them, like or how the game should be updated.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah, no.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I was talking to Xmod Sween about like player
Mm-hmm.
councils for like voting and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I have no idea the infrastructure that would go on with like player councils and how that would even get decided, but that kind of thing of like getting true, I don't know, surveys and polls through like dedicated players that really do understand the game and have multiple councils, free to play, UIM, Iron Man, PvP,
Yeah.
and get like a really good consensus, like where the councils are working together to figure out what would be the best, and then the J mods take that
Mm-hmm.
info.
Yeah, I think probably players. I don't know. I'd like to think that players have the best like intentions in mind. They're not like motivated by profit or their bosses saying
Yep.
that you have to do this or whatever. So I guess there's that. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there would still have to be a compromise with every update with that, but I don't know. Okay, Tanner asks, "What's after 200 mil all?" Josh responds, "Wins 200 mil all," And then Automelogy says wins 200 mil mining.
Wow, it's funny to me that people think that I'm actually gonna finish. It's
Hey, I mean, you were saying it earlier. 200 mil seemed absolutely like out of this realm, and then
yeah,
look at
you're
you
right.
now.
Now I'm doing it pretty, yeah. I don't know. I after 200 mil all, I'm probably just gonna play casually on the same account. I don't know. There's not a whole lot to do after 200 mil all, but I have a feeling by the time I get there, if I do, there will probably be a few more things added that I can continue working on or just play casually. I've mentioned a few times close rolls. Could also like kill Obor or Bryophyta a bunch of times,
Maybe an
climb
ice
the
giant
ranks.
boss potentially in the
Maybe an
future.
Einstein. Yeah, hopefully at some point.
See, that would be
I
a
think
cool
they,
update.
yeah, I think they did say after the Ice Mountain update that they did plan on doing it at some point because people were pretty upset that they like came out with this ice related update and didn't release the Ice Giant boss that they'd been talking about. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that was pretty weird.
Okay,
Um,
here, wait, real quick, I'm interrupting.
yeah.
For the ice giant boss, what would you want to see as a unique reward from it? Something that would
Um,
be, let me like go into a bit of detail. Something that would be better than the current meta as a weapon or something, or
oh,
armor. Would you like that?
it's hard to say. Um, I think it would be cool if they like did something with like all three bosses. If this, assuming this is the last of the giant bosses,
Yeah.
uh, like maybe something you have to kill each one so many times just to get a piece for, I don't know, something. But at the same time, this creates like prerequisites for best in slot.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I guess, for example, like the Castle Wars boots that they added recently that are now best in slot for free to play. They give like a +1 strength bonus or something, which increases the max hit at 99 by 1. It's actually I think Automelogy was talking about this on stream that it's inefficient to go for that one boost because of the hours it takes alone. It like in the grand scheme of like 200 mil all combats, it's not worth getting those boots still. I just find that really funny. So I think it would be okay. Maybe they add like I don't know gloves or something that's best in slot for free to play. But the thing is,
Yeah.
it takes like thousands of hours to get or something. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I doubt they'd ever do something like that intentionally, like adding something that takes 1,000 hours to get. But something that takes a long time where it's actually not worth doing in the grand scheme of things would probably be okay with me.
Yeah. No, I think that would be cool. Maybe a glove or a ring
Yeah,
that's just like +2 strength. Just
yeah,
something
right.
like I don't know, some crazy thing from an ice giant boss.
Yep.
That'd be cool. Okay. Yeah, so we're continuing. What's after 200 mil all? And you were saying like just casually clues. Wins 200 mil all. If you had to, I know you're
Uh,
saying it's still out of reach, but
yeah, I have thought about this obviously. If I continue to play at my current pace that I have, free to play is coming up on its seventh year of existence in February. So in the 7 years I've been playing, um, I would finish within another 7 to 10 years roughly. I'm only about 42% of the way completed at the moment, but that's of course assuming that skills don't get devalued further in the future. Of course, like prayer, as you mentioned, has been devalued pretty significantly. A few thousand hours been taken off 200 mil all. Prayer went from 43k per hour EHP to now 100 and I think it's 105k per hour now.
yeah, that's what I remember hearing.
So yeah, yeah, you never know, something like that could come out. And who knows, maybe I'll have it in 5 years if that's the case. Like Runecraft or mining. I guess well, I'm gonna be done with mining pretty soon, but
Would you
like
be
stuff like
first, do you
that.
think, or is there somebody else that's closer?
Um, there's Netbook Pro, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know. He said to me that he was gonna stop playing after 200 mil combats, but now he's thinking about, and I think he's also thinking about maybe maxing too. But I don't know if he has any plans after that. If he quits, then there's a pretty good chance. But at the same time, somebody like Enjoys, for example, someone who just plays a lot of hours could just come out of nowhere. Or I think a better example, maybe like Rodney Farva. You know that guy, right?
Yeah, that guy's insane.
Yeah, someone like you never know. Someone like that could just come around and absolutely destroy me, finish 200 mil in like 5 years from scratch or something like that.
Yeah, that
So
Rodney is
yeah,
something else.
I have no like I don't see myself being first because something like that could happen. But I'm just gonna keep playing. I enjoy playing the game, so I'm
That's
just
good.
gonna keep playing until I stop.
Wins 200 mil mining.
Um, I'm thinking probably mid to late January next year is feasible. So I have a break coming up. It's about a month and a half. So I definitely could finish it in that time. I just have to get back into the rhythm of skilling, of setting daily goals, weekly goals, and yeah, I'll definitely finish it then.
Is that the first 200 mil mining on free to play? I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, nobody's the rank two free to play mining. I'm actually not sure what he's at right now. Is mid level Skilla. Just from mining gold and silver places. That's how he's gotten his. I think he's like 50 mil. I'm just
That's
gonna look him up real
insane.
quick.
Yeah, go for it.
He is he is 61.9 mil mining right now, and he's ranked two.
Okay.
But nobody ever has really grinded that much iron ore. I think
Yeah.
maybe like Phage. He did like 20 mil XP there, 25 mil, something like that. That's the only other person who's done iron and free to play really for mining for that long.
Okay.
So
Very cool. That's exciting. Um, Ariadna or Crystal free to play. 3 questions. How do you manage to AFK skills in class? What is your least favorite skill in free to play? And what could Jagex do to improve it while keeping its spirit? And then do you have a pet IRL? I guess we'll go for the first one. How do you manage to AFK skills in class?
yeah. My major is a lot of I do a lot of drawing and modeling digitally. So on my computer, I just do all my work on my laptop. And same goes for when I actually have to be in class. I can just work and have RuneScape running in the background. RuneLight notifies me when I've gone AFK or whatever, so it just makes a noise or a notification pops up. Um, it's pretty easy to continue to gain EHP while doing schoolwork. So that's how I do that. And I also have another class where I just have to take notes every now and then. It's just a lecture, and I can just mine while I do that too. So, what was the next question?
I just accidentally. I was fixing my mic right there.
Oh,
I hope that wasn't too loud. I nailed
it
it.
sounded like it wasn't that loud, but it
Okay.
just kind of sounded like a truck or something.
Yeah, that was. I was trying to adjust this. The other thing was, what is your least favorite skill in free to play? I don't think we've covered that. And what could Jagex do
Oh,
to improve it, or anything? Should they
yeah,
improve it?
we did kind of cover it. When I was talking about Runecraft,
Oh
that
yeah.
that would be, I think, as it is right now, it kind of
Oh yeah.
sucks just because of the whole PKer ragging situation and the fact that they're 50 GP per XP to even do the method. I think it's a bit ridiculous. Of course, people are going to be like, oh, we'll just do the next best method. That you don't have to do that method. But of course, you're going to want to do the method that's
Yep.
substantially better than the other methods if it exists.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it's a stupid argument. People say that kind of stuff.
Yeah, especially when they're like, it would. I could, empathize with it if they were actually in the same position, but like they're never in anywhere close to your position or just like even play the same style of you. So they just say shit to
Yeah, absolutely.
just say shit like ignorantly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a pet IRL?
No, I do not. I had some hamsters growing up, but my parents never bought me any pets. They didn't want to take care of them, so
Yeah.
I probably won't buy any either, honestly, because they're kind of you have to. It's a responsibility, I guess.
Yes,
So
it is. I grew up the same way. I had a hamster, a mouse, which is basically like a hamster, and
yeah.
I liked mice better than hamsters. Actually, they were like,
Mm.
I don't know, like when you're a little kid, hamsters were more like fur balls, where mice were more like silky. They were
Yeah.
like more slithery. I don't know. But yeah, I never had any cats or dogs. I'm allergic to cats too, so
Mm.
it
Yeah.
sucks. So you don't have any plans of having pets when you're older?
Well, my girlfriend has a cat and she brings it over sometimes. So yeah, if I guess if we ever move in together, maybe I might have a cat at some point. But
I wish I could have a cat, honestly. Like, I would not have one right now because I don't feel responsible enough to take care of a cat. But
yeah,
I, just so allergic to them. It sucks because I think they're so cute.
yeah, they're all right. I don't mind pets. I just I'm doing other things. I don't need to take care of a pet.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm not lonely enough to need a pet.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
chilling. I have
We can get
RuneScape.
pets on RuneScape. That's all,
Yeah.
all I need.
You don't even have to
How many
feed
pets
them.
do you have in RuneScape?
I have 23. Well,
Holy crap.
23, but 24 if you include the Hellcat. And this is, like, I haven't gotten a pet in forever, it feels like, because I just do the same stuff. Like, I've been at
Yeah.
Corp. I already have 2 Corp pets, which is just stupid.
You have 2? Oh my god.
Yeah. I got my first one at 200, and it's a 1 in 5,000.
That's ridiculous.
And then the other one was just, like, heartbreaking. Like, it made my heart drop. I was like, no, don't give me another notification that I got one. That sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten on each of my alts, I've gotten 3 mining pets. Or no. First one I have 3. The other one I think I have 1 or 2. And then on my Ultimate Iron Man, I've gotten 3 agility pets within 28 mil XP.
Damn, I want the agility. I'm doing Artie right now, alking. I want
Oh,
some.
nice.
I want a squirrel, but at the same time, I'm okay going dry. I think I'm okay going dry on agility and RC pet because I want to have that to look forward to. As soon as you get the pet, it's, at least for me, I'd lose a little bit of motivation to continue.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we are close to wrapping up. I see one last question, and then I want to ask my usual question. But Aaron asks, how did you manage to find a balance between your studies, work, and your hobby?
I don't know. I was thinking about this question earlier. It's hard to answer that because I don't really feel like I have a balance. I just kind of have priorities with things. I think this is probably how most people operate is they just do whatever is the most significant thing they have to deal with currently and when they have time. This is how I feel. I just whenever I have time to play RuneScape, I do. Um like if I'm in a situation I can play RuneScape, I like to, but sometimes I just kind of forget to. It's good to have like I don't know if you're into like a long-term progression playing RuneScape, it's good to have the habit of logging in if you can. I mean, some people might argue that that's not a good thing, but I don't know. It's a hobby.
Reddit would
like, it
argue.
doesn't
Reddit would beg to
right.
differ. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a hobby. It's not like consuming my life whatsoever. Like I don't. It's okay if if I'm not playing RuneScape. You know, it's
Yeah.
just. But I like to log into to not spiders, flesh crawlers, when I can. When I remember to. But yeah, I like school is obviously the priority currently. So.
Cool. Okay. You might know what I'm gonna ask, but I'm gonna now ask you for 3 shout outs.
Ooh.
Not 3, not the top 3. It doesn't okay, let me rephrase. It doesn't
3 A's
necessarily
come up
have
with?
to be the top 3, but just 3
Okay.
shout outs so you don't feel obligated to have to shout out the entire world.
Mhm.
So 3 people that you feel like deserve it.
Let's see. I guess I'll give one to actually I'll just give 2 here to my 2 friends and admins of Free to Play CC. Freckled Dad and DJ9. I think you should definitely have one of those guys on one of your podcasts in the future. I think that would be a good chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah. And let's see, who could the third one be? I'll go with Acid Soul. Shout out to Acid Soul.
Shout out.
We miss you.
Do you think he'll ever come back?
I don't know. He comes back to Twitter occasionally, says some really cryptic stuff. But I don't know. It's sad. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Nah, he's got to be. He always, I don't know. I feel like he sees the world differently than most people. I don't know. I think he's
yeah,
doing great.
He's something else.
Yeah. Sometimes I know we're getting to the end, but I need just one last thought is what do you think about legends that don't ever really show themselves, like have an online presence? I'm thinking like Link's Titan. Of course, he had a little
Right.
bit, but Zezima, Kepi,
Right. I think
even Higer, to be honest.
yeah. I think those kind of people are definitely like interesting people to look up to. I don't know. I think it's kind of it might just be like people are drawn to others who don't necessarily like expose themselves like who they are personally. So it might just be like kind of fetishizing those type of people.
Like the
But
mystery.
I right, the mystery of it all I think is something people like maybe are overly like they give too much credit maybe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like those players are incredible. Like regardless if they did like talk to people or like there are plenty of other players who are like almost equally as good who don't or who aren't like that. Like I don't know, for example, like Sae Bae or Hey Jace, like they're also incredible players. Like
Yep.
there's plenty of people like that. But those I don't know. I feel like maybe those people do get too much credit. I'm not saying that's like they do deserve the credit, however. But I think maybe like the mystery of it all is like how people see them.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think like the mystery is I don't think the people that are mysterious choose to be mysterious. Like that's not their goal, is to be
Right. Yeah.
this mysterious. It just happens to work out that way. Because I think like I feel like if anybody were to try to do that, they would break. Like if they actually really did want to publicize what they're doing, they would inevitably just start doing it because it's too tempting not to show off your gains and stuff. But
yeah, they just have different personalities.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, those are my kind of closing thoughts. Pawz. It was an absolute pleasure having you on the cast. Very glad we could do this. Short and sweet for the most part. I mean, generally my casts run almost 3 hours, but I really like the kind of the concise ones. And so,
Right.
and it was nice having another skiller's perspective on. I always love them. They're more, there's a different atmosphere with these episodes, I feel like. So
Yeah. It was definitely a pleasure being on the podcast. I have watched quite a few. Haven't gone through them all yet, but
yeah, there's a
maybe I will.
lot, and these are long form podcasts. There's like 150 hours of this. I would never expect anyone to watch. I couldn't
Honestly,
even watch all
I might
these.
get through it over this winter break. Maybe I'll finish it.
Hey man, that would be awesome. Okay, so I will have your Twitter, YouTube. Is there anything else you'd like? Your Twitch?
Yeah, Twitch, sure. Why not? I sometimes stream.
Yeah, that's where I initially actually found you. Was your stream, I believe.
Yeah, I've always I've known your name before, but I didn't know you made like YouTube videos. I've just seen you on Twitch a lot.
Yeah, no, I would always
People's
pop.
chats.
I would pop into your stream. I remember like a couple of years ago we were talking about like I must have been living at home, but the topic Taco Bell came up, and I know you're a big fan of Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's another topic.
We never ended up talking about that, but
Yeah.
I honestly I've actually fallen out of love with Taco Bell recently. I think the one here is just absolute trash quality. So
the issue is like my hometown, it's like the best thing ever, and then for the one near school, it's like trash.
yeah,
So
it sucks, man. Sucks that they have to do that. It's the same. It's most places here. Like McDonald's sucks too. Generally, at my hometown, it was like always a really high quality.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll wrap things up. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys would like to support the podcast and access deleted scenes from a few select episodes from the past, feel free to check out the Patreon link in the description. And we will catch you next week for Minalinsky. He is a skiller as well. We're going to get him on. And then the following week after that, I will leak. We are getting Iron Vatty on again. This will be his first repeat appearance on the cast, and that will also be the 1 year anniversary of the cast. And so there will be some other special announcements made then. But thank you guys for listening. Pawz. Thank you again.